10 days after the Pandinus poisoning incident, Ojin was finally discharged from the hospital. Fresh air filled his lungs. Escaping the suffocating hospital bed felt like survival itself. General Manager Han greeted him with a stiff expression. Han apologized sincerely, blaming himself for the assassination attempt. Ojin waved it off. Responsibility lay elsewhere. The Pandinus Guild had collapsed, split apart, hunted. A top 10 guild erased in 10 days. Valhalla filled the empty 10th seat, small but elite. The Black Star had vanished cleanly, too cleanly. Italy, the Black Star's influence was spreading overseas. Foreign fires could wait. Han drove him home using a staff-only route, avoiding reporters. They arrived. Silence. No furniture. No food. Nothing. Hyun didn't answer. A note lay in the center of the room. Come to Hapjeong Station Exit 9 as soon as you read this. An hour later, he arrived at Hapjeong Station. She was already there. She admitted she ignored his calls on purpose. He followed without protest. She led him to a high-end mixed-use apartment, 7th floor. Compared to their old place, it was a palace. She explained, "This is our home." His voice shook. Emotions surged uncontrollably. He embraced her tightly. She gasped in confusion. A call interrupted them. It was Park Chang-hyun. Lee Woo-hyuk was hit by the Black Star organization.
The Valhalla Guild building looked unchanged. Park Chang-hyun was already waiting. "You came. How is Mr. Woo-hyuk?" Park Chung-hyun hesitated before answering. "He's alive. That's all I can say." Ojin's gaze sharpened, and the rest. He woke up and he asked for you. That alone told Ojin enough. They moved beyond the public areas of the building. Park Chung-hyun stopped before a plain wall and pressed his card against it. The surface slid open, revealing a concealed passage. Inside lay a medical facility hidden from the world. They reached the farthest room. Lee Woo-hyuk lay on the bed. His cheeks were sunken, his eyes unfocused. The overwhelming presence he once carried was gone. Only defeat remained. "What happened?" Ojin asked. "We fought and lost." His lips trembled. "To one person." Ojin's breath caught. "Arshad Khan?" "No." The answer came instantly. "They called him the King of Owls." Woo-hyuk clenched his fists. "It wasn't a fight. We couldn't resist. Escaping alive was luck." The title echoed in Ojin's mind. King of Owls, Owl Nebula, an executor. They hadn't chased prey. They had walked into a predator's territory. Woo-hyuk explained. They traced the phone number, found a Black Star hideout within a Pandinus Guild warehouse, not the headquarters, but significant. The ambush succeeded, briefly. Then Chun Do-yun appeared, and everything ended. "We survived," Woo-hyuk said bitterly, "but we lost them." "So it's over," Ojin said. "No." Woo-hyuk reached for a piece of paper. One of them approached us voluntarily. Ojin's eyes sharpened. "A whistleblower. He hates them," Woo-hyuk said. "Enough to betray them." Ojin stared at the paper. Dangerous, uncertain, irreplaceable. Information was the only weapon he lacked, and the only one he needed. "I'll take it." He folded the paper and slipped it away. Because if he didn't pull the thread now, the future would tighten around his throat.
After leaving the Valhalla Guild, Ojin contacted the whistleblower using a burner phone provided by the association. This wasn't something that could be delayed. 3 hours later, they agreed to meet at a cafe near Banghak Station. A middle-aged man entered with his hat pulled low. In an empty alley, Ojin struck. The man was restrained and forced into a near... "You're quite aggressive for a greeting," the man said, once he could speak. "We're not here to drink coffee. I'm Jang Sakho. I develop star relics for the Black Star organization." "I won't give information for free," Jang Sakho said. "This is a deal. And if you refuse, I die." Jang Sakho revealed the explosive relic embedded in his chest. "If I die, so does your lead." Ojin clicked his tongue. "My son was taken by the Black Star organization," Jang Sakho said. "Save him and I'll tell you everything." That explained the hatred. That explained the betrayal. "There are 7 factions in the Black Star organization," Jang Sakho continued. "The one active in Korea follows the Owl Nebula, led by Chon Do-yun, ranked 6th among the executors." Ojin stiffened. The man who crushed Valhalla wasn't even among the top 5. "They were hiding in the demon realm," Jang Sakho added. "That's why no one knew." He also knew branch locations, high-rank Templars, and the reason the organization had begun moving openly. Inside the car, Jang Suko thanked Ojin with trembling shoulders. Before parting, he handed over an orange bracelet tied with 3 knots. A blue message window appeared. It was a 5-star defensive relic. Originally made for his son, Suko asked Ojin to use it instead. Ojin equipped the bracelet without hesitation. Suko revealed the location of his son, an abandoned warehouse near Namyangju. He'd known the place for months and waited patiently for the right chance. With time running short, Ojin sped up. They stopped nearby and continued on foot. The warehouse looked ordinary, almost too normal. Suko grew restless, but Ojin told him to stay back. He would go in alone. Before infiltration could begin, 3 figures stepped out. They were Khan's Owls, elite 6th-star awakeners. It was clear now they had been waiting all along. Still, Ojin remained calm. The Owls attacked first. The bracelet's barrier blocked the opening strike. Ojin countered with blue lightning, driving his spear forward again and again. Within moments, 1 owl fell. Silence followed. Ojin raised his spear towards the remaining 2. Ojin fired wires around the scythe and vaulted high into the air. Ojin smiled faintly and stepped forward. The owl tried to flee, but the wires still bound his scythe. Lightning surged through the metal. Moments later, the final owl collapsed. Ojin ensured the enemies were dead, then absorbed the remaining mana from their stigmas. Satisfied, he turned toward the warehouse. Jang Suko rushed inside, shouting his son's name. They searched the warehouse and descended underground. Room after room turned up empty. Something felt wrong. Ojin found a large rusted container. Inside were only white ashes. He closed the box silently. Jang Suko returned, breathless and hopeful. Ojin told him calmly that no one was there. Suko forced himself to believe his son had been moved. As despair settled, quiet footsteps echoed from above. Ojin sensed it immediately. There were many enemies, far stronger than before. The mana in the air was overwhelming, on an entirely different level from the owls. This was not a fight he could win. Ojin quietly guided Jang Suko down toward the lowest floor. They moved carefully, searching for a way out. Then, without warning, rusted machinery collapsed. The noise echoed through the factory. No one came to investigate. That was when Ojin understood. They were not coming down. They were planning to bury everyone alive. Explosions tore through the building. The stairs shattered. The ground shook violently.
Ojin raised a wall of lightning to shield them, but the destruction was relentless. Moments later, everything was swallowed by rubble. When the dust settled, the factory was gone. A massive crater remained. Ojin crawled out from beneath the debris and heard a faint groan. He found Jang Supo, mortally wounded. Suko, barely conscious, handed Ojin a USB containing the promised information. Then, with his final strength, he begged him once more to find his son. Ojin stood in silence. He had lied his entire life, but now he didn't know what lie to tell. Before an answer could be given, enemies appeared. One rushed forward, and Ojin ended him instantly. He straightened and faced the others. A man with overwhelming presence stepped forward. It was Arshad Khan, a mid-rank Templar. He mocked Ojin calmly, confident in his victory. Ojin replied just as calmly, his words sharp, deliberate. As Jang Suk-ho weakly warned him to run, Ojin used a healing drop, not to save him, but to keep him alive a little longer. Ojin spoke softly. "Wait here. Don't die yet." Ojin took a deep breath and launched himself into the air. Instead of aiming for Arshad Khan, he fired his wires at the subordinates beside him. In an instant, they were dragged forward like cannonballs. Without hesitation, Arshad Khan cut them down himself. Blood filled the air. Using the brief moment when Arshad Khan's vision was blocked, Ojin shot a wire onto nearby rebar and pulled himself forward. Lightning surged along his spear as he fell straight toward Arshad Khan's head. The strike landed, but black feathers wrapped around Arshad Khan like armor. The attack failed. Ojin immediately blasted backward, creating distance. Arshad Khan watched calmly, genuinely impressed. Then he swung his scimitar slowly. The swing looked harmless, but the air itself exploded. A chain of devastating blasts tore across the battlefield. Ojin barely blocked it, his hands torn open by the impact. Ojin realized the truth. Tiny black feathers released from the scimitar were detonating again and again. He was blasted away, crashing in rubble and coughing blood. Arshad Khan closed in, striking relentlessly. Though Ojin matched him in skill, the difference in raw output was overwhelming. His body simply couldn't release enough power. Bleeding and shaking, Ojin tightened his grip on the spear. There was only one choice left: exceed. Lightning exploded beneath his feet as he charged forward. His mana was forced through his body far beyond its limits. Blue lightning condensed into blazing flames at the spear's tip. Ojin struck. The clash sent Arshad Khan flying across the battlefield. For the first time, blood spilled from the Templar's lips. Arshad Khan stared at Ojin with caution. This was no longer a future threat. This was a danger now. He stood back up and raised his hand to his chest. Black mana erupted from Arshad Khan's stigma. Countless black feathers stormed into the sky. From within the raging vortex, Arshad Khan stepped forward calmly. The time of the owls has come. The real attack followed. The scimitar slammed down with crushing force. Lightning flames flared as Ojin pushed back desperately, but his mana drained too fast. Cracks spread through the spear. It shattered. Fragments pierced Ojin's body, and in the same moment, Arshad Khan severed his right arm. Even then, Ojin rose. With his remaining arm, he charged. Arshad Khan cut deep into his left arm and mocked him, but Ojin answered by smashing his head straight into Arshad Khan's face. Again and again, pure madness. Arshad Khan retaliated with fury. He crushed Ojin's legs, shattered his body, and beat him until he stopped moving. At last, Ojin lay broken and silent. Arshad Khan laughed in exhausted relief. Rain began to fall, heavy, sudden. Arshad Khan turned away, convinced it was over,
but something felt wrong. The ground beneath the rain was dry. A voice spoke behind him. Ojin stood up. Broken bones reversed, flesh restored itself, severed arms returned. Water flowed unnaturally into his body. Ojin opened his eyes beneath the storm. The Ain answered him. Power surged. He smiled calmly. Arshad Khan froze. Ojin looked straight ahead. If this was the time of owls, then now it's the time of the lightning wolf.
As Arshad Khan forced his power again, his body began to wither. His skin aged rapidly. His strength came at the cost of his lifespan. Ojin immediately understood. This blessing demanded payment from its wielder. A tornado of black feathers surrounded Arshad Khan. Explosions rained down endlessly. Ojin charged straight through, receiving the blasts head-on. His body shattered and regenerated again. Still, his attacks couldn't break through. Ojin clenched his fists and began striking the tornado again and again. Bones broke, flesh tore, pain screamed through his body, but every time his arm regenerated, he swung again. He didn't stop. The black feather barrier began to shake. Arshad Khan backed away in disbelief. With one final strike, the tornado collapsed. Black feathers scattered across the rain-soaked ground. Arshad Khan fell back, crawling in terror. Ojin stepped forward and crushed Arshad Khan's head under his foot. Ojin turned to Jang Suko, barely clinging to life. When asked about his son, Ojin lied gently. He said Hyunwoo was alive. Using his ability, he recreated the boy's voice. Through the rain, a child called out, "Dad." Jang Suko smiled. He spoke softly to his son, promising to return one day. He asked to hold his hand one last time. Ojin transformed his own hand and placed it in Suko's grasp. Jang Suko relaxed. Relief filled his face. His hand slipped away. The rain kept falling. Standing in the pouring rain, Ojin finally released his transformation. His trembling arm refused to clench copperly. The pain remained even after regeneration. It was clear now. Healing had limits. A burning sensation spread from his chest. When he checked his stigma, 5 stars shone brightly. Ojin had reached 5-star in just 2 months. Ojin activated Black Heaven and absorbed Arshad Khan's stigma. An overwhelming amount of mana flowed into him. Only then did he realize Arshad Khan had been a 7-star awakener, boosted further by a blessing. Along with the power, memories flooded in. Conversations, orders, hidden alliances. Ojin learned the truth. Members of the Black Star organization were hiding inside the association, and someone called the King's Delegate was pulling the strings. The absorbed skills transformed, aligning with Lyra's lightning. At the same time, the Black Heaven began its 4th awakening. A new quest appeared, something called an ancient constellation. Despite everything gained, Ojin collapsed. His internal injuries were too severe. Barely able to walk, he turned back once more to Jang Suko's body, then quietly left through the rain. Ojin returned home drenched and broken. Hyun rushed to him and froze at the sight of his condition. Without saying much, Ojin reached out and touched her face. It was warm. Relief washed over him. He embraced her and collapsed at the doorway. All he asked was simple, just for a moment, to stay like this. Ojin woke up screaming. Pain tore through his body, endless, relentless pain that refused to fade.
Before he could understand what was happening, a familiar voice spoke above him. It was Vega. Vega appeared in her full form, gently resting Ojin's head on her lap and forcing him to lie still. He soon realized where he was, Hoon's house, and somehow Vega was no longer restricted to her small form. Vega explained calmly. Ojin had been unconscious for 4 days. During that time, the commandment's restriction had weakened, allowing her to manifest longer and even assist him directly. Vega demonstrated her power, casually shaping lightning into different forms. She could now offer direct support, even if blessings were still limited. Ojin felt a thrill. This was a huge shift. The door burst open. Hoon rushed in, shaking Ojin violently while yelling at him for nearly dying. Tears welled in her eyes. Before things escalated further, a silver wolf entered. It was Riak. Vega explained that Riak could now leave the sanctum as well. Even with his power restricted, he would be a valuable ally. Riak scoffed confidently, boasting that even now he was more than enough. Ojin explained everything that happened, except the Black Heaven. The room fell silent when he mentioned defeating a 7-star awakener. Even Vega struggled to believe it. The conversation shifted. Ojin confirmed his lightning and thunder skill had reached level 9. Riak stared at him in disbelief. That skill, he said, was the core of Lyra's stigma, and once it reached level 10, everything would change. Riak gathered lightning and released blue flames from his mouth. Lightning flames, he declared. Ojin blinked, then calmly raised his hand. Blue flames ignited around his palm. Riak froze. His mouth fell open. Ojin tilted his head innocently. He could already do it.
Ojin asked what would happen once lightning and thunder reached level 10. Riak hesitated. Since Ojin already possessed lightning flames, the reward might not be the same. Instead, he suggested something unprecedented might appear, a power never seen before. Ojin quietly asked Vega about ancient constellations. Her expression changed. She explained the truth. Titan, a creator-like being, created the Celestials. Black Heaven once devoured every star. Celestials were wiped out once before. Ancient constellations were devoured Celestials from the past. Ojin finally understood the meaning of his quest. Ojin looked around the room, his new home. Heun laughing, Vega on his shoulder, Riak sprawled on the floor. He decided, quietly and firmly, no matter what the future held, he would not lose this warmth. While waiting, Ojin checked the USB Jang Sukho left behind. The Black Star organization's goal was clear. Erase all current awakeners, then turn everyone into awakeners. A simple, terrifying plan. But it was only the surface. Each faction had its own hidden agenda. One name stood out. Cheon Wusong, the king's delegate, son of Cheon Doyon, suspected infiltrator inside the association. Ojin decided to report this immediately. At the association, General Manager Han confirmed it. The association was split into 2 factions, the chairman's lineup and the board of directors lineup. Cheon Wusong led the latter. Everything finally made sense. Han admitted the truth. Recruiting Ojin wasn't just about prestige. They needed a North Star's apostle on their side. Ojin accepted calmly. But Cheon Wusong was far beyond his current strength. For now, waiting and growing stronger was the right move. Ojin placed his shattered spear and wire shooter on the desk. They were beyond repair. He requested new weapons. Han smiled. Instead of replacing them, he suggested something better. Han stood up and opened the office door.
Ojin followed General Manager Han to a strange 10-story building near the association. The air inside reeked of metal and chemicals. This was the Star Relic Research Institute, the place where weapons powered by starstones were born. The door barely opened before a middle school-aged boy rushed out, laughing loudly. His name was Kim Si-hoo, the institute's general manager. Despite his age, he was the one who had created Ojin's wire shooters.
When Ojin explained that the wire shooters had been destroyed, Si-hoo didn't panic. Instead, he celebrated. Apparently, they had been rushed prototypes. Now he could finally make something better. Ojin also requested a new spear. Si-hoo wasn't excited, but agreed. After some playful arguing over money, Ojin decided to pay for his own weapon. Si-hoo brought Ojin into a testing room and handed him a heavy steel rod. Ojin swung it freely. Stabs, slashes, smashes, for 5 minutes straight. Watching from multiple angles, Si-hoo analyzed every movement. In seconds, he reached a conclusion. Ojin wasn't a long-range spear user. He fought up close. Si-hoo proposed a new design. A shorter shaft with a longer curved blade built for slashing rather than thrusting. A spear tailored perfectly to Ojin's style. Production would take 1 week. Before leaving, Si-hoo made a single request, that Ojin help General Manager Han if the association's internal conflict worsened. Ojin agreed without hesitation. When asked what he planned to do next, Ojin answered simply. He needed star stones, a lot of them. General Manager Han mentioned a gate in Busan. Inside it, monsters dropped 2 star stones instead of 1. But there was a catch. All the monsters were over 5 star. Han hesitated. He reminded Ojin that he was only 4 star.
General Manager Han stared in disbelief. Ojin calmly revealed the stigma on his chest. 5 clear flicks. He had reached 5 star in just 2 months. Han advised him to keep his rank hidden. Such growth defied common sense and would only invite suspicion. After 1 week, Ojin, Hyun, Ryak, and Vega departed together. After 5 hours of driving, they arrived at the gate in Busan. The place was overflowing with awakeners. Rumors were true. Monsters inside dropped 2 star stones each. Most hunters were 5 star and above. The deeper areas were still open, but dangerous. A loud voice echoed near the gate. A streamer named Jerry Kim, a 6 star Sagittarius Awakener, was live broadcasting his hunt. Unaffiliated, popular, arrogant. Ojin observed quietly. Streaming meant fame, but also risk. Ojin led the group deeper inside. Vega climbed onto Ojin's head and held his hair like reins. 3 bulky murlocs appeared, fish-headed monsters with humanoid bodies. Hyun prepared her flames. Ojin stopped her. He wanted to test himself. Ojin activated his new weapon. The compact rod expanded into a crescent-bladed spear. He launched himself upward, wires firing mid-air. Lightning surged through the wire within seconds. The fight ended almost instantly. Hyun stared in disbelief. This wasn't the Ojin she knew from Sokcho. Nearby, an orange-haired youth rested while drinking a potion. It was the streamer from earlier. The youth's eyes lit up. He recognized Ojin immediately, the lightning wolf. Smiling broadly, he pointed to the floating camera marble beside him, then asked, would Ojin join his live stream as a guest? Ojin agreed. He proposed a competition. Who could defeat more monsters in a limited time? The chat went wild. Most believed Jerry would win easily. Ojin smiled. So this was the real goal, to defeat him publicly, to claim glory. He decided to play along. Ojin accepted, but he stepped forward, a calm smile on his face. Let's raise the stakes. Jerry laughed. Starstones? All in. The words landed heavily. Jerry Kim froze. His confident smile wavered. Point betting opened. Within minutes, over $2 million flooded the pool. The odds were brutal. Jerry Kim, 80%. Lightning Wolf, 20%. Then, a single bet of nearly $460,000 slammed onto Ojin. The chat went insane. Jerry smiled calmly. The bigger the pot, the better. The match rules were simple. 30 minutes, same party, most kills wins.
Last hit decides the point, a rule that clearly favored Jerry. Ojin agreed without hesitation. That calm acceptance made Jerry uneasy. Jerry summoned glowing arrows of light. 3 murlocs emerged ahead. The chat screamed. His signature move was ready. Before Jerry could release, blue lightning tore through the tunnel. Ojin vanished in a flash. 3 bodies dropped. Silence fell. The chat filled with question marks. Jerry Kim couldn't even process what he'd seen. Ojin smiled. "Are you planning to stand there for all 30 minutes?" Jerry snapped back to reality and rushed after him. Deeper inside the tunnel, monsters surged out from every direction. Jerry fired arrows desperately. Ojin moved faster. Every time Jerry damaged a monster, Ojin landed the final blow, again and again. 30 minutes passed. Ojin, 24 kills. Jerry Kim, 7 kills. It wasn't close. It wasn't even a contest. The chat abandoned Jerry instantly. Jerry stared at him in disbelief. "You said you were a 4-star?" Ojin tilted his head. "When did I say that?" Then he raised 5 fingers. 5-star. Jerry finally understood. A North Star stood on a different plane entirely. Jerry handed over his sack of starstones. A promise was a promise. The chat descended into chaos. Some celebrated, others mourned their lost paychecks. Jerry prepared to announce the top betting IDs. Hun panicked. "Wait, cancel it!" Too late. The #1 winner is... The name echoed across the stream. The tunnel went quiet. The chat froze. Ojin blinked. Just as the stream was about to end, the tunnel shook. Dozens of murlocs rushed in, screaming, but instead of attacking, they ran past everyone. They were fleeing. Ojin's expression hardened. "They're not attacking us. They're running away." A 7-star boss monster, 9 heads, 20 meters tall, and charging straight towards them. "Ojin, we need to run!" Hearn shouted. He looked at the chaos once, then smiled. Escaping is off the table. His heart beat faster, not from fear, but excitement. A boss monster, in a gate that drops double starstones. I can't miss this opportunity. Hearn sighed. Flames ignited around her hands. "You're insane." But she stepped forward anyway. Ojin lowered his stance. "It's fast," he noted calmly. "But compared to Arshad Khan, it's nothing special." Blue lightning wrapped around Ojin's legs. He kicked off the ground. In a single upward slash, his spear tore into the Hydra's neck. Green fluids sprayed everywhere. 2 heads snapped toward him in response, but flames exploded first. Hayun intercepted, fire wrapping around the Hydra's heads. "I won't last long," she shouted. Ojin didn't hesitate. Wires shot out. 2 Hydra heads slammed together mid-air. Riak leapt in, lightning claws shredding an eye. Vega's lightning web blocked a retaliatory strike. 4 heads were crushed in moments. The Hydra staggered. Just as victory seemed close, the severed necks bubbled. They regenerated. Fast, too fast. "That's not normal," Hayun shouted. Vega's voice followed. The star's power had doubled. 2 starstones. A mutation. Ojin narrowed his eyes. The Hydra regenerated a head in 5 seconds. Then I'll cut 7 within that time. He lowered his stance. Lightning coiled violently around him. "Exceed!" He vanished. 1 head fell. 2 more followed. Wires snapped tight. Lightning detonated. 5 heads gone. 2 remained. Time was running out. Ojin forced his legs beyond their limits. Lightning swallowed them whole. His body launched forward like a bolt fired from the sky. In a single motion, the final heads fell. A system message rang out. Exceed evolved. "Hayun!" 7 flame dragons surged forward. She screamed through the pain, veins spreading across her eye. But she didn't stop.
Flames wrapped every severed neck. The Hydra collapsed. "Well done," Ajin said calmly. "All I did was the last hit," Heyun muttered. Ajin shook his head. "That wasn't easy." He pointed at her chest. "What? Is it amazing?" "No, your stigma." Light was leaking through. Something had awakened. Her eyes widened. I became an 8-star awakener." She rushed Ojin, hugging him tightly in excitement. An 8-star awakener, the final stage achievable as a human, one step away from becoming a being beyond humanity. Ojin approached the Hydra's corpse and split it open. 2 massive first-class starstones rolled out, glowing blue. Each was worth a fortune. With these and the starstones won from the stream, the Black Heaven quest was well within reach. They decided to leave and rest. Jerry Kim bowed deeply. "Thank you. I owe my life to you." He offered his contact information, apologizing sincerely. Ojin waved to the camera. "It was fun. I'll appear again if there's a chance." The chat exploded with praise. The collaboration ended perfectly. The next day, Ojin poured the starstones from the sack into the storage room. Soft blue light filled the space. Ojin entered the storage room again. Black Heaven. Dark clouds poured from his palm and swallowed the starstones one by one. Mana flowed into him, slow but steady. System notifications followed. Completion rate, 2.7%, 8.4%, 32%. After all small-size starstones, progress slowed. He took out the massive starstones obtained from the Hydra. The clouds devoured them. 61.2%, 72.4%. His expression hardened. So quantity isn't enough. To proceed, he'd need starstones from monsters stronger than a 7-star boss. Elite 8-star monsters at minimum. That wasn't something easily found. Then, Ojin snapped his fingers. The Valhalla Guild. They still owed him a reward. High-quality starstones could be negotiated. It was time to visit. Ojin lifted his phone. Pain struck his head. His vision shook. This again. A familiar system message appeared. Part of Awakener Lee Shin-yuk successfully recovered. The world shattered. Screams, fire, blood. Ojin stood within someone else's memories. A city burned. Western buildings collapsed into rubble. Fire demons rampaged through the streets. In the distance, a massive structure crumbled, engulfed in flames. The Colosseum. Italy. Rome was falling, and the memory was only beginning. From the rooftop of a tall building, Lee Shin-yuk looked down on the massacre and clenched his fists. In the end, it still turned out like this. The rooftop door opened. Lee Woo-yuk, the Black Lion, stepped beside him. "Brother, how's the situation?" "It's too late." Shin-yuk spoke with heavy regret. The entire city has been taken over by the pseudo-star cult. Blue mana flared along the lion-engraved spear in his hand. Woo-yuk lowered his voice. "There isn't much time left." "I know." Shin-yuk's phone vibrated. After a brief call, he stared at the screen. 2023, June 29th. Woo-yuk, that incident happened 2 years ago, June 30th, right? That's right. Shin-yuk looked back at the burning city. If I had met Isabella that day, would this future have changed? His voice cracked. The rooftop railing shattered in his grip. A tear fell. If only I had met her back then. Static filled the air. The scene collapsed. Spearmanship of Pixis level 6 to level 7. Ojin gasped, clutching his head. Damn, my head's splitting. Calmly, Ojin organized what he learned. Italy, Rome, is destroyed in 2 years. The culprits, the pseudo-star cult. A woman named Isabella is the key. Meeting her on June 30th could change everything. Oh great, another cult. He frowned. The Black Star organization alone was already too much. Ojin glanced at the calendar. June 24th. Less than a week remained. Honestly, he didn't care about Italy, but
A regressor shouldn't ignore this. And more importantly, the Black Star organization has been increasing activity in Italy. If they were involved, Rome's flames could spread. I can't ignore this. Inside the Valhalla Guild, Lee Woo-yuk studied the USB carefully, his presence sharp and oppressive. Kim Sun-young spoke calmly. "We'll use this to track the Black Star organization." Ojin nodded. "I'll leave it to you." Woo-yuk looked up. "You wanted star stones as a reward." "Yes, ones from monsters above 7 star. "No problem." Ojin smiled. He really is generous. Ojin hesitated, then asked, "Have you heard of the pseudo-star cult?" Woo-yuk frowned. "No, first time." Kim Sun-young hung her head as well. "We'll investigate." "Thank you." Then Ojin added, "One more thing. Do you know someone named Isabella, Italian?" Kim Sun-young paused. "Do you mean Rome's saintess?" "Saintess?" "Isabella Collegrande." A hologram appeared. Blonde hair, snow-white skin, clear blue eyes. Ojin blinked. "She's beautiful." "She became a 6-star within a year," Sun-young explained. "One of the world's top super rookies. Stigma, Aries, the 12 zodiacs. Support type, but extremely powerful. She's also a philanthropist. Dozens of aid centers, free medical care, orphans, elderly." Ojin narrowed his eyes. "That explains the title." Sun-young's tone grew serious. "There have been multiple assassination attempts on Isabella." "I remember that." She continued quietly. "We suspect the Black Star organization." Silence fell. Ojin's eyes hardened. Those bastards again.
Isabella's stigma is said to be extremely effective against demon beasts. That was enough. If she counters demon beasts, then she counters the Black Stars. Ojin's thoughts aligned with Lee Shin-hyuk's future memory. On June 30th, Isabella dies unless I intervene. "I'll go to Italy myself," Ojin said calmly. Lee Woo-hyuk stiffened. "You'll go alone?" Italy's Black Star Executor ranks 3rd, an insane risk. But Ojin remembered Rome in flames, the screams, the blood. "I'm no hero, but I protect what's mine. And Isabella is worth the risk," he thought coldly. Kim Sun-young handed him a card engraved with a tiger. "Paolo Lenzoni, our informant in Italy. Show him this." She then passed him a small device, a top-tier translation device. "You'll understand and speak Italian perfectly." Ojin sighed. "I'm receiving a lot." She smiled. "Just share what you learn." "Fair trade." "Italy?" Hyun blinked, spoon mid-air. "Guild request. About a week." Her eyes sparkled. "Sightseeing? The Colosseum?" "I'm going alone." Her smile vanished. "Promise we'll travel together later." "I promise." She looked away, muttering, "Call me often." "Sanctum travel. 1 hour." "Oh, that was fast." Ojin inserted the translator. Italian instantly became Korean. "Rabibia Station. Paolo should be nearby." The location led him into a gypsy village, cramped, worn, maze-like. "Damn, where is he?" Then, "Are you lost?" A woman approached. Blue eyes, blonde hair under a hat, a smile gentle enough to disarm anyone. Ojin froze. "No way." She removed her hat and extended her hand. "Nice to meet you. I'm Isabella Collegrande." Rome's saintess smiled brightly. Ojin stared. "You've got to be kidding me."
Sorry," he said, finally reacting. "I'm Guan Ojin." She blinked, then clapped her hands. "Lightning Wolf? You're that Lightning Wolf?" "Yes." Her eyes widened with admiration. "I thought so. You give off a good smell." "Excuse me?" Her face turned red instantly. "Forget that. Please forget it." Ojin smiled faintly. "A smell? So she really did notice me first." "Oh, I was doing volunteer work nearby," Isabella said quickly. "You looked lost, so I came to help." "I actually am lost," Ojin replied smoothly. "It's my first time here." "Then I'll guide you." She smiled brightly and started walking. Ojin followed. "This is perfect." "I was supposed to meet someone," Ojin said, scratching his head, "but I seem to have forgotten the exact location." "Oh no." Do you remember anything? Just somewhere around here. He pinned a random spot on the map. Isabella nodded seriously. 30 minutes of fruitless searching. I'm sorry, Ojin said. I think I'll head back to my lodging and try again tomorrow. That's probably best. He paused. Would you like to eat together? I feel bad for taking your time. Isabella hesitated, then pointed. There's a kebab stand over there. They sat on a bench, eating quietly. Hee, this almost feels like a date, she said lightly. Ojin almost choked. Well, the location isn't very romantic. She smiled bitterly, looking around the worn-down village. Ojin laughed softly. You seem popular here. I volunteer here often. Her expression slowly darkened. I'm not kind, she said quietly. She clenched her fists. When I help people here, part of me feels relieved that I wasn't born like them, that I'm strong, that I'm talented. She looked down. That's why I help, to satisfy those ugly feelings. Then Ojin spoke. Is that really wrong? She looked up. A good deed done for a reward is still a good deed, whether that reward is money or self-satisfaction. But people only praise selfless kindness because it's easy to exploit. Her eyes widened. You're strange, Isabella said at last. Then she smiled, bright and warm. She stood up and handed him a card. Let's talk again. Of course. As she walked away, she murmured softly, Sembra delicioso. The translator didn't react. Ojin watched her leave. All right. Ojin straightened his clothes. Contact established. First step complete. Well then, it was time to finally meet Paolo Lanzoni.
You're quite late. A middle-aged man with disheveled gray hair opened the door. Sharp eyes behind thick glasses scanned Ojin carefully. The streets were complicated, Ojin replied calmly. Paolo let him in without further questions. The house was spotless, everything aligned with unnatural precision. A meticulous man, Ojin noted. That's good. I need information on the Black Star organization. Paolo immediately brought out documents. They've been expanding by pushing out the Marco family. A mafia? Ojin asked. Paolo nodded. A brutal one, led by Marco Giorno, a high-rank awakener, possibly above 9-star. Ojin fell silent. A monster ruling monsters. And yet, Paolo continued, since the Black Star organization appeared, Marco Giorno has gone into hiding. Ojin frowned. How is public opinion of the Black Star organization here? Paolo looked puzzled. Positive, extremely positive. They're praised, especially by gypsies, many even trained to join them. Ojin let out a short laugh. So that's their strategy. Villains wearing the mask of heroes. They've been seen frequently near the Saintess, Paolo said, every time there was an assassination attempt. Ojin's suspicion hardened into certainty. She's their obstacle. Ojin requested every recorded location. Paolo marked them one by one. Within Rome, this is everything, he said confidently. Ojin believed him. Paolo wasn't alone. Hundreds of unseen eyes guarded the area. A true information broker. Outside, Ojin studied the map. 6 days passed. The date arrived. The day when fate would either repeat itself or break.
A woman ran through a dark, narrow alley. Her blonde hair fluttered wildly as she gasped for breath, her once pearl-white skin now stained with sweat and dust. "Chase her! She went that way!" Men with murderous intent closed in from behind. Isabella Colagrande squeezed herself into a narrow gap between buildings. Her chest rose and fell rapidly. After a brief silence, she barely held back her panic. I was careless. Her stigma no longer glowed. Mana refused to answer her call. Even her phone was dead. They planned this perfectly. "There! Get her!" 3 men rushed her at once. Isabella ran, but without mana, every step felt unbearably heavy. The laughter behind her grew closer. How slow! She was caught. Rough hands seized her arm. "Curse of the purple forbidden enclosure," one man sneered. "She's harmless now." A slap struck her face. Her vision shook. Hands tightened around her neck. No, fear flooded her mind. I can't end like this. Blue lightning tore through the alley. The air screamed. What the? A spear wrapped in blue flames danced through the darkness. Slash. Scream. In an instant, the men collapsed, lifeless. Silence returned. Isabella stared, stunned. A young man stood before her. Calm eyes, black hair, familiar presence. Guan Ojin, the lightning wolf. He lifted Isabella onto his shoulder, securing her with his wire. In an instant, they were airborne, swinging between buildings. Civilians screamed as assassins cut through the streets without restraint. Blood spilled, panic spread. Ojin's eyes darkened. They don't care about witnesses or their image. The situation felt wrong, twisted, but there was no time to think. A blade struck. Blood splashed from Ojin's arm. Isabella screamed. "I'm fine," he said shortly, lightning erupting from his body. He kept moving, one step, then another. His body was drenched in blood by the time the river came into view. They reached the riverside. A boat floated gently on the water. "Hurry, right it," Ojin gasped. "I'll hold them back." "No, what about you?" "Go." He pushed her away. Then his body staggered and collapsed. "Ojin!" Her scream tore through the riverside. Ojin lay still. Assassins closed in. Inside, he smiled. Perfect. Now Vega would descend. Now he would rise again. Then, foreign memories surged into his mind. If only I had killed her back then. Ojin's thoughts froze. Killed her? His blood ran cold. Isabella cried over his body. Assassins approached carefully. One shouted in fury, "Drop the act, Queen of Leeches!" Silence. Then Isabella stood. Fear vanished from her eyes. Sharp fangs emerged as suffocating killing intent crushed the air. "Leeches?" she murmured. The assassins trembled. "So many of you gathered. Being popular is exhausting. I wonder how your blood will taste." Ranked 3rd executor of the Black Star Organization, the Queen of Leeches, Isabella Collegrande. The night fell silent. The scattered clues finally aligned. Marco Giorno hiding, Italy changing overnight, assassins acting nothing like the Black Star Organization. The truth struck him hard. The ones hunting Isabella weren't Black Stars. They were the Marco family, using borrowed Black Star power. He had been fooled completely. Ojin recalled Shon Wusong's words. Poison should be dealt with by poison. Everything made sense now. The Noctua faction had armed the Marco family, letting them clash with Isabella. 2 evils tearing each other apart. And Isabella? She was never the prey. A tattooed man stepped forward. Marco Giorno. Isabella greeted him with a smile, almost playful. Marco roared, convinced the curse had sealed her power. "Kill her!" Hundreds charged. Isabella looked up at the darkened sky. "The stigma of Hyrado," she said calmly, "grows stronger at night." Red light bloomed from her chest. Marco froze. Isabella lifted a single finger. She traced a line through the air. Silence. Then, bodies fell. In less than a second, dozens collapsed, lifeless. The riverside turned red. Screams followed as panic broke the ranks. Marco lunged at Isabella in desperation. Isabella barely moved. Red energy shredded Marco's body. She ended him without emotion. Italy's former king fell,
powerless. Isabella approached Ojin's unconscious body. She studied him closely. His scent, his blood. Something about him was different, something irresistible.
I won't ever let you go. I'm completely screwed. Ojin! He opened his eyes slowly. Isabella hugged him tightly, tears in her eyes. You didn't wake up for days. He forced confusion onto his face. Where am I? A hospital run by the Colagrande house. Her concern looked real, too real. Ojin lowered his gaze. In the end, I failed to protect you. Her expression froze. That's not true. I don't have the qualifications to stay by your side. Inside, he screamed, please let this work. The air turned heavy. You said you'd stay by my side, Isabella said quietly. Ojin swallowed. Give me time, he said softly. When I'm strong enough, I'll return to Italy. Never. She stared at him. Then she held out her pinky. It's a promise, right? Yes. He locked pinkies with her, smiling brightly. At the sanctum entrance, Isabella hesitated. You'll come back soon. Yes, Ojin answered calmly. She stepped closer and kissed his cheek. I'll call you later. She ran off waving. Ojin stood still. I'm sure she's acting. Right? He stepped into the sanctum. The gate closed. Ojin exhaled deeply. He had survived. For now. But somewhere behind him, a queen of leeches smiled.
The moment he entered Vega's sanctuary, my child! Vega rushed forward and hugged him tightly. Too tightly. Ojin nearly blacked out. When she released him, he sucked in air like a drowning man. Celestials were on a completely different level. Vega asked the obvious question. Had he saved the Saintess? Ojin hesitated, then decided to tell the truth. Isabella wasn't an awakener of Ares. She was an executor of the Black Star organization. Vega froze, but Ojin remained calm. Isabella didn't know that he knew. That alone gave him room to maneuver. If used correctly, she could become a weapon against the Black Star organization itself. Ojin lowered his head. He apologized for acting rashly, for making mistakes. It was deliberate, a calculated display of vulnerability, and it worked. Vega hugged him gently this time, stroking his head. She reassured him he didn't need to carry everything alone. Ojin returned the hug. He promised that one day he would change the future, the tragic ending where the world was destroyed by the heavenly demon. Vega believed him completely. Ojin left the sanctum and headed home. He thought about Heian. She was probably worried. He stopped by a burger place on the way. Old habits, old memories. His steps grew lighter as he neared home. Then, his vision twisted. Another memory surfaced. Lee Shinyuk, Lee Woo-yuk, 2 years in the future. They spoke of Isabella, of how she lost her rationality, of how Italy drowned in blood. Lee Shinyuk clenched his spear. If he could go back in time, he would kill her. The memory shifted again. A boat, the coast, someone shouting, someone apologizing for being late, and then, thank you, Heian. Ojin's thoughts froze. His breath stopped. Why is Heian there?
In the first round, Hun and Lee Shin-hyuk weren't strangers. They moved together naturally, too naturally. Before he could make sense of it, the memories continued. Hun removed the eye patch from her left eye. A reptilian eye revealed itself. Pain twisted her face, but she raised both arms. A storm of flames erupted, swallowing the vampires whole. Even the sea couldn't extinguish the fire. Exhausted, Hun sat down. Lee Shin-hyuk handed her the eye patch. They spoke casually, comfortably.
He had bought her the dragon's cursed eye. When she asked why, he couldn't answer. Hun smiled, then looked away at the sea. There's someone I still need to take care of. The memory ended. Ojin stood frozen. Lee Shin-hyuk had bought her that eye. Then where had he been? What had happened between him and Hun in the first round? And if Hun was alive, why had the world been destroyed? No answers came, only irritation, only unease. The front door opened. Hun's voice greeted him immediately, angry, worried, familiar. Ojin pulled her into a tight embrace. The warmth was real. Whatever happened in the past, this moment existed now. He asked her to smile. Awkward, forced, very Hun-like. But it wasn't sorrowful. That was enough. As long as she stood here with him, the past didn't matter. And so the first season comes to an end. The past still hides its secrets, and the future has yet to be written. Ojin's journey is far from over, and the truths of the first round will one day come to light. If you enjoyed this story, if you're curious about what awaits in the next season, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Season 2, whenever it will be available.